There was a time when play was sacred. It was a break from work, a space for joy, a ritual of connection. Children played tag. Adults played cards. No one thought play could ever be weaponized. But somewhere along the line, the human instinct to play stopped belonging to us. It became designed, engineered, quantified, and optimized. Not for fun, but for profit. In the quiet backrooms of labs and casinos, scientists discovered something that would forever change how we live, spend, and think. The secret was simple. If you can make a person chase the next win, even when they're losing, you can control them. Curiosity became a lever. Behavior became a product. In the 1950s, psychologist B.F. Skinner built the operant conditioning chamber, better known as the Skinner box. Inside it, a pigeon pecked a lever to receive a food pellet. Skinner tried different reward schedules, every peck, every fifth, every 10th. One variation changed everything. He made the rewards random. Sometimes the bird got food, sometimes it didn't. When it didn't know when the reward would come, it wouldn't stop pecking. That obscure academic experiment became the blueprint for addiction itself. Casinos adopted it, then marketers, then Silicon Valley. Today, every ping on your phone, every like, every push notification is a modern Skinner box. Except now, the pigeons have credit cards. We peck for hits of novelty and validation. And the machine never runs out of pellets. In the early 1960s, Las Vegas wasn't yet a symbol of vice. It was marketed as glamorous, sophisticated, almost respectable. Behind the velvet ropes, engineers and psychologists were quietly rewriting the mechanics of gambling. Slot machines, once clunky, mechanical devices, were reinvented as psychological interfaces. They replaced physical reels with lights, sound, and programmed odds. The goal was no longer just to win money, it was to stay in the chair. Staying required something powerful, something the human brain wasn't built to resist: the near miss. A reel showing 2 cherries and a bar just above the pay line wasn't a mistake. It was a calculated illusion. Brain scans later revealed that a near miss triggers almost the same dopamine release as a win. It doesn't frustrate you, it motivates you. You feel close, so you keep going. That's how the first machine zone was born. Players entered a trance-like state, detached from time, money, and self-awareness. They weren't gambling anymore. They were looping. One researcher described it perfectly. They don't play to win, they play to keep playing. The loop became the point. Every industry that came after took notes. Video games, fast food apps, stock trading platforms, fitness trackers, all learned from the casino floor. Somewhere between entertainment and economy, the line blurred. We stopped living life, we started playing it. The turning point came in the 1980s, when arcade machines replaced mechanical slots as the new public addiction. Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Donkey Kong, bright colors, simple rules, escalating difficulty. Under the surface, they relied on the same reward architecture as a one-armed bandit. The psychology didn't change, only the cabinet. Players didn't just want to win. They wanted to avoid losing. Wanting to win is a dream, but not wanting to lose is a compulsion. It's the same reason gamblers double down after a loss and traders buy dips. It's also why you still reach for your phone even when you know you shouldn't. By the 1990s, the internet brought digital unpredictability. Websites tracked clicks, tested layouts, and A/B tested headlines. The human nervous system became an input variable. We were being studied, not served. This wasn't evil science, it was curiosity turned commercial. Psychologists wanted to understand motivation, marketers wanted to sell more, and coders wanted retention. They discovered a truth no civilization had confronted before. The brain is programmable, behaviorally. Control reward, feedback, and uncertainty, and you control behavior. That realization changed capitalism forever. In 2007, the iPhone arrived and everything changed again. Casinos no longer needed walls, they fit in your pocket. The world's most advanced companies realized they weren't in the business of technology. They were in the business of dopamine. Every app, game, scroll, and like became another lever in a digital Skinner box. The people pulling them weren't addicts by nature, they were human. We are wired to seek patterns, chase rewards, and feel progress. Now those instincts are monetized. The casino doesn't close, it just updates overnight. Gambling, once confined to smoky rooms, is everywhere. Fantasy sports, crypto trading, loot boxes, influencer giveaways, even product drops. All of it is built around the chase. You aren't buying things anymore, you're gambling on timing. Limited drops, flash sales, waitlist streaks. Every moment is engineered to feel like opportunity instead of manipulation. When everyone is playing the same game, losing starts to feel normal. This is the foundation of the gamified society, the logic of play infecting everything. Your attention is the currency, and your impulses are the marketplace. Success is measured in streaks, points, followers, and engagement. We used to play games to escape life. Now we live life as a game. The first casino engineers couldn't have imagined this scale. Their world was mechanical and limited. You could only lose what was in your pocket. In the digital economy, there is no end. The game reloads instantly, the credit feels infinite, and the player never leaves the table. You can't tell where entertainment ends and exploitation begins. You can't tell if you're chasing joy or relief. That confusion, the fog, is the perfect environment for profit. Play was supposed to make us human. Now it's become an algorithmic leash that keeps us docile. Every reward loop, notification, and leaderboard runs on the same pigeon peck principle. The world learned how to make us peck. And the most dangerous part? We volunteered for it. The loop is comfortable until it isn't. Part 2. From Las Vegas to Silicon Valley. Las Vegas was the original interface, a living prototype for behavioral design. Every carpet pattern, lighting cue, and lack of clocks or windows was part of an experiment that never ended. The entire city ran on a single principle: keep the player inside. Designers learned people respond to atmosphere, not logic. They built curved hallways so you could never see an exit. They tuned ambient sound to mask fatigue. They studied how colors affected risk tolerance. Deep reds increased bets, cool blues prolonged sessions. It wasn't gambling anymore, it was architecture as hypnosis. By the late 1990s, the slot floor had become a field laboratory for human behavior. Casinos hired neuroscientists and built databases of play profiles. They tracked dwell time, betting rhythm, and micro-expressions. Every spin was data, every hesitation a clue. Then came the jump. When the dot-com boom arrived, Silicon Valley had software but lacked attention. Founders went hunting for experts who knew how to hold attention indefinitely. They found them in casinos. Designers who optimized slots began consulting for social networks and mobile games. Reels became timelines, tokens became likes, jackpots became notifications. The goal never changed: sustain the loop. Pull to refresh became the digital lever. Facebook industrialized the formula. Its growth team measured time on site the way casinos measured time on device. The longer you stayed, the more ads you saw, the more data you produced. The product wasn't community, it was compulsion. Then came Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. Likes became a public score, followers became currency, dopamine became strategy. By 2012, gambling's language had entered tech boardrooms. Retention rate, variable reward, user acquisition funnel. Clinical terms for primal mechanics: find the trigger, deliver the hit, repeat. The logic didn't stop at social media, it bled into finance. Stock trading, once patient, became a game. Robinhood promised access with a sleek, gamified interface, confetti on trades and free stock referrals. The average user opened the app 9 times a day. Losses hurt less when the screen looked like Candy Crush. Behavioral economists warned of the slot machinization of Wall Street, but it was too late. Retail traders chased volatility like gamblers chase streaks. Crypto platforms layered leaderboards and flashing numbers onto real risk. People weren't investing, they were playing the market. Meanwhile, Silicon Valley perfected the other half of the casino equation: personalization. Casinos comped loyal players with rooms and buffets. Apps comp you with attention, custom feeds, tailored ads, for you pages. The algorithm studies your behavior and feeds you what keeps you spinning. It never sleeps, runs out of credit, or forgets. It learns faster than you do. This is where Las Vegas ends and the algorithm begins. In Vegas, you chose your machine. Online, the machine chooses you. Behind friendly interfaces, behavioral engineers built feedback loops with military precision. A single upward swipe triggers a millisecond of uncertainty. What's next? That anticipation releases dopamine before you even see the post. It's the same neurochemical arc as a slot pull. The thrill isn't the win, it's the maybe. You think you're chasing information, but you're chasing that feeling. Every time you get it, the algorithm takes notes. Gamification seeped into productivity and beyond. Workplaces introduced leaderboards and points. Schools rolled out learning streaks. Health apps turned steps into coins. Dating apps turned intimacy into a lottery. Even mental health apps rewarded daily logins. What was meant to make life better began to measure it instead. Each system promised motivation, but together they redefined meaning. We stopped asking, "Did I enjoy that?" and started asking, "What level did I reach?" Life became a scoreboard. As this architecture spread, language changed. Users became players, communities became ecosystems, and engagement became the new GDP. At the center sat the casino logic: intermittent rewards and infinite play. The irony was sharp. The minds once criticized for exploiting addiction became architects of convenience. Now the chips were your attention and the house won in data. By 2015, smartphones were everywhere and algorithms grew predictive. The line between entertainment and behavior control vanished. Companies didn't just track what you did, they tested how far they could push before you left. They called it retention optimization. Casinos called it loss limit. Different words, same addiction curve. Executives learned the perfect loop. Just enough frustration to keep you trying, just enough success to keep you hopeful. The curve that made gamblers lose fortunes now makes users lose time. When whistleblowers exposed internal metrics, one pattern stood out. Apps designed around variable rewards produced roughly twice the engagement of consistent ones. It wasn't coincidence, it was evolution. The attention economy learned the oldest rule in gambling: certainty kills the thrill. Hence your notifications and feeds remain unpredictable. You never know when the next hit of validation will arrive, so you check compulsively. The slot machine followed you home. By 2020, the culture was fluent in play psychology, though no one called it that. Platforms promised empowerment but delivered dependency. We still tell ourselves we're in control, that we can delete the app or take a break. But when work, relationships, and identity live inside the game, leaving feels like disappearing. Silicon Valley completed the transformation Vegas began. The reel still spins, only now it spells your name. Part 3. The economy of attention. Every civilization runs on what it values most. For centuries it was land, then labor, then oil. Now it's attention. The modern economy doesn't drill for crude, it extracts focus. Every glance, scroll, and second of watch time becomes raw material refined into profit. The more distracted you are, the more predictable you become. Predictability is gold. Attention is the new oil field. When researchers mapped internet attention spans, they found collapse by design. Apps demanded shorter focus bursts and sharper novelty. You weren't failing to pay attention. Your attention was being fragmented on purpose. Every feed competes for the next 5 seconds. The race isn't for depth, it's for re-entry. Leave, return, leave again. Every return is another data point and another ad served. Companies built rigs that reach deeper into behavior than governments or religions. Unlike fossil fuel, there's no visible depletion. You just feel tired. The architects never hid their intent. Investor calls bragged about time on platform. Product meetings celebrated engagement spikes. What they didn't say, engagement and exhaustion are twins. The longer you play, the more the outside world fades. Each notification is a microbid for your consciousness. Your mind becomes an auction house where brands, influencers, and ideologies compete. The auction never ends. The gavel never falls. In the 2010s, the model went global. Billions of users created billions of microtransactions of focus. Ad networks predicted emotion from cursor speed and pause time. Video platforms tracked pupil dilation. The algorithm doesn't just know what you like, it knows why. Marketing became manipulation science. Variable reward turned into personalized discovery, and loss aversion became FOMO. Vocabulary shifted, intent remained. The value chain of attention is simple. Capture it, hold it, sell it, repeat until burnout. At the top, sit platforms that don't make things, they make you look at things. Their product isn't content, it's the interval between dopamine hits. Psychologists once said we make roughly 35,000 decisions a day. Now the algorithm makes a hefty share for you, curating news, playlists, partners, and politics. Each recommendation refines the next. It learns you faster than you learn yourself. In Las Vegas, the house won by controlling odds. Online, the house controls the feed. And the feed shapes your perception of reality. Attention is now a traded commodity. Influencers buy it with spectacle, politicians with outrage, corporations with fear. Headlines are calibrated for the limbic system. Every controversy is a slot handle yanked for viral payoff. The outrage economy feeds on cortisol the way casinos feed on dopamine. Different hormone, same leash. Education joined the race. Universities gamified courses with streaks and dashboards. Students chased completion badges instead of curiosity. At work, dashboards turned effort into progress bars. Managers stopped asking, "Are you learning?" and started asking, "Are you leveling up?" Productivity became a scoreboard. Burnout became the cost of staying competitive. The attention economy doesn't care which emotion drives engagement, joy, rage, envy, fear, only that it drives return visits. Anger sustains longer sessions than happiness, so negativity wins. Platforms learn to surface conflict because peace doesn't refresh the feed. Collective mood became a marketplace. The world feels more polarized because outrage is good business. The system doesn't want you calm. Calm people scroll slower. Advertising once promised connection, now it promises friction. The shock, the hook, the cliffhanger, each engineered to keep you from leaving. Every design pattern is a refined slot machine cue. You don't need coins anymore, you need attention cycles. Those cycles are finite. When they're gone, creativity collapses, empathy dulls, and focus fractures. You can hear it in conversation. People finish each other's sentences from impatience, not intimacy. Everyone is halfway somewhere else. In the background, data centers hum like invisible casinos. Petabytes of behavior are mined, modeled, and monetized. They call it analytics. It's anthropology for profit. Every heartbeat, purchase, pause, and scroll tells the system what kind of player you are. Once it knows that, it can keep you playing forever. The greatest illusion is freedom. You can choose any app, any feed, any content, yet all roads lead to another ad. Choice feels like control, but it's camouflage for captivity. In Vegas, at least you knew when you were gambling. Online, you call it killing time. Time isn't what's dying, agency is. Some economists call this era cognitive capitalism. Mental energy is the input, distraction is the output. The more fragmented your attention, the more efficient the machine. It's the only industry where user dysfunction equals corporate success. The metrics prove it. Rising screen time, falling satisfaction, rising connectivity, falling concentration. By the early 2020s, saturation arrived. Every waking second could be monetized. Sleep trackers turned rest into data. Meditation apps gamified stillness. Even silence was branded as content. When nothing is unmonetized, peace becomes rebellion. Logging off feels radical. Ignoring a notification feels like civil disobedience. The system doesn't need prison walls, just enough stimulation to keep you docile. Bread and circuses became Wi-Fi and infinite scroll. Beneath it all hum the same ancient mechanisms: dopamine curves, variable rewards, and the illusion of agency. The casino floor expanded to planetary scale. Every screen is a slot machine. Every mind is a player. Part 4. The illusion of choice freedom was the sales pitch of the digital age. Endless platforms and unlimited access. You could buy anything, learn anything, be anyone. Choice was progress and power. Then choice stopped being liberation and became a leash. Every menu and toggle is framed as autonomy, yet nudges you to the same behavior. Stay longer, click more, return tomorrow. What looks like freedom is friction dressed as control. Psychologists call it learned helplessness in disguise. Overchoice breeds anxiety, and surrender to recommendations feels like relief. You think you're picking what to watch. You're really picking which version of the same dopamine curve you'll ride tonight. The illusion reaches far beyond entertainment. Fitness apps nudge streaks, finance apps nudge risk, shopping apps nudge scarcity. Even dating apps nudge perpetual dissatisfaction to keep you swiping. The modern consumer doesn't chase products, products chase them. Every tap is a breadcrumb in a behavioral maze. The path is drawn by someone who profits when you never stop walking. Choice has become choreography. The platform leads, you follow. You can swap partners, Instagram for TikTok, Coinbase for Robinhood, Uber for DoorDash, but the music never changes. The rhythm is engagement, the melody reward, the tempo acceleration. Faster feedback, shorter satisfaction, constant motion. We confuse customization with consent. The system asks for preferences to narrow them. Soon the algorithm predicts needs before we name them, and we call that convenience. Prediction is preemptive persuasion. Even democracy learned the mechanics of gamification. Campaigns A/B test headlines like casinos test jingles. Polling functions as a leaderboard. Outrage is the currency of attention. The more polarized the feed, the higher the profits. Choice, once sacred, is now fuel for division. You don't vote only with a ballot, you vote with your time. The rational consumer gave way to the conditioned participant. Rational minds don't scroll past midnight searching for something that doesn't exist. They don't open apps they don't enjoy just to clear a red dot. They don't trade rest for validation. Manipulation doesn't need force when it feels like preference. Somewhere in the blur, we lost boredom, the space where creativity and self-reflection used to grow. The game filled the gap. Every idle moment now has an interface ready to claim it. Waiting in line? Scroll. Lying in bed? Scroll. Avoiding a feeling? Scroll. The casino used to trap you with walls. Now it follows you everywhere, whispering, you could be winning right now. This is the paradox of our era. The more control we think we have, the less we actually use. We delegate curiosity to algorithms and call it exploration. We trade serendipity for predictability and call it safety. We surrender agency for dopamine and call it fun. We built a world that never stops offering choices because choice keeps us playing. Maybe that's the quiet genius of the gamified society. It doesn't need to hide. It just needs to keep you entertained long enough to stop asking questions. But questions are the way out. Questions break loops and expose design. Ask who benefits. Ask what you're giving. Ask why you can't stop. If you don't, someone else will answer for you with code. You can't log out of the entire world, but you can learn how the world logs into you. Understanding that is the first real freedom left. If this woke something up in you, don't disappear back into the noise. There's more to uncover, more to expose, more truth buried under fun. Subscribe to Winning Without Wagers, where we keep pulling the curtain back on the games built to play you. Once you see the design, you can start taking your life and your mind back.